Hey guys, for today's video I'm going over how to install a transducer on a John boat. The same method would apply to any boat, but this is what I'll be working on today. This installation is going to be focused on a transom mount, as a trolling motor mount is pretty straightforward. A transducer is the part of a fish finder that scans the water column. It sends a signal down into the water and read what bounces back to show you fish and structure. This is important to understand since the focus of this installation is going to be on orienting the transducer, since the actual installation is only a couple of bolts. Each transducer comes with a breakaway mount. The purpose of this bracket is to allow you to level the transducer based on how the boat sits in the water, as well as provide a pivoting point in case the transducer strikes an object. Alright guys, we're out here at the transom. Some of the mounting recommendations that it tells you is to be at least 12 to 15 inches away from your propeller. We're going to try to get it as far to the right hand side as possible. It also says to stay away from anything that's going to produce turbulence. So there's a rib right here. What I'm thinking is going to be right here. It'll be away from the turbulence caused by the side of the boat, far enough away from the motor, and we'll mount it so it doesn't hit the trailer or anything like that. We will have to be using marine sealant. I'm going to be using some 5200 for that. I have this on hand. Regular silicone would work, but I know this stuff works. We're going to be using that for sealing up the holes. So our next step, we have to get our template ready. See here, so that's the mount for that. And this also kind of tells us the clearance on the bottom of the transducer. So as long as this is above the bottom of the boat, it will make sure that the bottom of the transducer is not lower than the bottom of your bolt. All right, so one other quick thing I did before I get this in place was I just punched out 2 holes where the screws are actually going to be. That way when I mark it with my Sharpie, I'll actually be able to go through the paper. I'm going to use some masking tape to help align this in place. Garmin says it wants the edge of the template on the bottom of the boat. That way this keeps it as low and deep in the water as possible while not going under the boat and causing turbulence. So we're trying to go for about right there. All right, so that's right on the bottom of the boat. Go ahead and test our transducer in place here. So it's gonna sit roughly like that, which is pretty good. Our template in position, we can go ahead and drill out our holes. If you're installing this into a boat that has a solid interior, it gives you a depth to drill to, but because there's nothing on the other side of this, I just need to make a hole. Okay, there's our holes. I'm going to be using just a manual screwdriver just so I don't strip out the holes. Put a dab of silicone on each hole. That way when we thread the screw through, it'll pull it nice and tight and seal up the hole. Again, I'm using this 5200. I have a love-hate relationship with this stuff. It works great for its purpose, but it is so messy. So to put this on, I'm going to make sure we're level. So I'm going to get it in the general position. I'm going to start one of the screws just so we know we're lined up here. Okay, I'm going to start this screw. I spent a little time getting it all leveled out, but now we are really close to level. I'm happy with that. We have the rubber washer, then the metal washer, threading through the side here. And then on this side, we got to put our bolt in place. Okay, so now we want the transducer to sit level with the ground while we're in the boat. The boat itself is not going to be level in the ground. It's always going to be sitting back a little bit because of the weight of the motor. So we want the transducer, we're going to go with 1 click up. That way, once we're in the water, it'll be sitting more flush. And also when we get on plane and we're driving around, this will be at a better angle for the actual boat itself. So now I'm just going to snug this down. Okay, so that's just loosely snugged down. It won't move while we're driving, but now it will be able to move if it hits an obstruction of some kind. And again, we use the silicone behind the bracket around the screw holes, so everything should be nice and sealed up now. This video, I wanted to focus on mounting the transducer because this was a definite lack of knowledge on my part before I did this, and I feel like this could be super useful for other people trying to install their own. A lot of folks pay to have this done, and I think that overall it wasn't too bad of an experience. I'm really happy with how it came out. It's mounted in a good position. It's nice and level. If we need to adjust it up and down, we have a little bit of room for that, but otherwise we're good to go. All right, guys, well, that's how you mount a transducer to a John boat, aluminum boat, or just any boat in general. If you guys found this helpful, let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching. See you in the next video.